What's going on, everybody? Ryan the Mighty Quinn here on the Cornerman _MMA. Before I forget, like, subscribe, share. Please comment. Let me know what you think. Would love to discuss everything we talk about with you. Now, UFC 280 in the books. A lot went on last night. Um, Gamrot and Dariush stands out as an instant classic. Then we had Bilal Muhammad. He knocked out Sean Brady. I thought that he had a pretty good game plan, and that's going to be interesting to see who he fights going next. I know he kind of mentioned Khamzat Chimaev, but we'll see what happens. I know that they're probably waiting to put him up for a title shot at some point, or I heard the mix with him and Kobe Covington. But last night we weren't left without controversy. So, before we get to the controversy, let's talk about the main event. Now, I couldn't have been more wrong. I was like, Charles Oliveira does not have the game plan that gets steamrolled, and that's kind of what happened last night. Even in the first round, I was like, you know what, 5-round fight, the lesser experienced fighter, it's probably just letting him take him in the deep water a little bit. But no, I arm triangle, man. I did not see that happening. So, yeah, not Hamzat, sorry. Islam Makhachev is the real deal. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't like the fight for Volkanovski. I think that that's a bad matchup. But whatever, we will see. He wants to fight for the lightweight title, and it's going to be interesting to do. Although champs are always fun, right? So let's get to the white elephant in the room, which is the Petr Yan versus Sean Omalley fight. A lot of controversy there. Personally, I didn't think that it was that bad of a robbery, although I definitely had Petr Yan winning. I don't. Well, first of all, let's start here. I know I saw Dana White getting pressed at the post fight by a reporter that was throwing the StatCast statistics in his face, which is I'm going to do a video on this later this week. You got to throw StatCast out the window. The UFC did that to try, because people love seeing numbers. They love seeing them. That's what mainstream sports do. They have stats. They keep stats. For records, whatever. Don't worry about that when it comes to scoring a mixed martial arts fight. That has nothing to do with it, and it's kind of annoying. Like, to me, it was annoying for Dana to be like, this guy was so confident. Oh, the stats say this, stats say that. But you're basically, that's like a team in baseball that won by a grand slam but had less base hits, and then you're arguing with the lead umpire. Oh, but this team had 8 base hits, but they only scored 1 run. And then are you counting first downs? Are you counting touchdowns? That's what I'm talking about. Well, there's a scene in Game of Thrones where, what's the bigger number, 5 or 1? 5-1. The great Robert Baratheon said that about his strong army. So, the StatCast is, throw it away. And why is that important? Because this is a damage game. What parts of those stats that you're talking about, what part included damage within the scoring? I think this is why it wasn't as bad as a robbery as people think it is, because the damage that Petr Yan it wasn't as bad. So I did find Dana a little deflective when he was talking about the scoring. He said something about round 1, and he was wrong. It did come down to who scored round 1. Other than that, the scoring was identical. Now, let's go to the judges real quick. First, I wasn't overly familiar with these judges. Ben Cartledge, David Letheby, Vito Palillo. Now, I wasn't overly familiar with them, so let's see. The rounds 2 and 3 were identical for all of them. They all gave round 2 to Yan. He had more damage within that round, no question. And they gave round 3 to Omalley. Now, I felt that Omalley kind of controlled the fight. He defended some takedowns. Now, round 1, the only one that gave it to Yan was Palillo. I had it going to Yan. Now, let's go back to these judges where I wasn't overly familiar. I was really skeptical. Such a big card. You didn't have our well-known judges. Now, there's no commission out in Dubai, so to speak, like we're used to. The British commission, I don't really know how that's broken down, so forgive me. But in the United States, we have, the states have their own commission. Now, back in COVID, when Fight Island first came, the UFC made things happen. They got whatever commission they can get out there. Now, I wasn't really sure how it went down, so I asked a big name. I'm not going to say who that was right now, who's close to it, and this is basically what he said to me. Here, I'll just read the text. Big man, question for you. What commission is used or put together for Abu Dhabi cards? This was the response. The UFC uses an independent team from England, and they're the front men. The UFC pulls the strings. Then I asked him how he scored the Jan Omalley fight, which he gave it 29-28 Jan, which is how I gave it. But anyway, so the UFC kind of pulls the strings on this. They bring selective judges out, plain and simple. I'm sure that they tell those judges, if you do a good job, we would love to have you back. We're going to leave it at there. Now, going to round one. Now, this is what I had. I know I've been trying. This is where I think that Jan won round one. This is why I think that Jan won. Why he should have gotten the decision, because of round one. The first 2 minutes of that fight, or that round, he lost. He didn't even. I don't even think he threw a punch. I mean, this is not a 2-round or even a 3-round, 3-minute round. A 2 or 3 minute round. Now, he was pressing forward, but he wasn't really throwing anything. Omalley was, throwing. If you want to rely on your StatCast, Omalley was, he was throwing the front kicks, throwing the 1-2s. Nothing really great though. Nothing really great. In fact, the whole round, I only counted damage on both guys like once or twice that whole round. Now, why are we breaking this down? Where does the tiebreaker come in? Now, for those of you who are saying Omalley won that round, you're counting the stand-up. You're not counting the total strikes, which is what you got to be doing here. Now, judge, based on what we were talking about with John McCarthy previously, you could check out that video. Now, we decide based on what there's more of to score, whether it's striking or grappling. Whatever happens more of, then we're going to focus on that for the scoring. Now, it looks like that the judges, Mr. Pillow versus the other two, it's almost like he was watching a completely different fight in that first round. I think that the other two judges confused stand-up with overall striking. What do I mean by that? Yes, Jan got the takedown. He didn't do much submissions with it. He didn't do much grappling, but he did land some strikes, whether it be to the face, did have that neck crank that's not striking, those body punches, and those right there were just as significant as the stand-up striking that Omalley showed. Now, why is that important? Because this is overall striking that's connected. This is now if you're going to rely on the wrestling, maybe you're going to use that as the tiebreaker because there was the striking was quote unquote even. You got to also remember against the fence, Jan had some striking against, he had some knees to the thigh and stuff like that. He had some striking when he was in there. I truly believe that that he did enough to show more volume, more significant strikes landed if you're going to get nitty gritty with the striking. Now, as I said, going forward, okay, now if Jan did win, if not Jan did lose this fight, what are you going to have him change? I don't know. Like, this is where you got to go. Like, he did everything right. Maybe move his head. I don't know. Like, he does tend to come forward and not throw volume, so you could kind of pepper him, maybe jab a little more. But either way, he showed that he had the significant. He had significant strikes landed. They both rocked each other. Now, I'm glad that the second round they saw it the way they did. They both the judges did a good job with that. Both rocked each other significantly. They did a great job there. So I think that going forward, that judges need to remember this. This is not, I know Michael Bisping, he posted a video basically how I used to remember. It's the damage domination, like so. Yes, but within which criteria? Within the striking, within the grappling, which he didn't really talk about. You can't mix it all together. We can't jumble it all together. Unless we're going to use the grappling as a tiebreaker to the even striking that was displayed. I hope that makes sense. If not, please comment, like, subscribe, share, comment. So going forward, guys, I want to know what you think about that. And again, we had a lot going on here. Let's see, did I miss anything? Nope, we got everything. So thank you guys so much. Let me know what you think about this fight, how you scored it. Again, sum it up. I didn't think it was the robbery that everyone thought it was, but I thought Petr Yan did win that fight. It is interesting, the judges' selection, Dana White's press conference, all of it. Let me know. StatCast. I'm going to do a video later this week on why StatCast is garbage. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.